Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Zap Entertainment. I'm Zerduku. Still lost, and I'm still not going to be making any more books and videos. I'm just making this video because I come to realize something within my depression that I feel like I have a need to tell you guys something. And if you know the title of the video, this is uh, why did I start writing in the first place? And this isn't a question that a fan has asked me because honestly, nobody's actually asked me any questions for me to do any kind of like Q&R things. No, this is something that I have been reflecting on, and I feel a need to talk about it so people can understand some things that especially with Music Girl, try to understand why I did what I did with Music Girl and other books that I've already written through this YouTube channel. And originally, I did my writing because I was looking for a purpose in life. Um, I kind of felt like through my life, I kind of felt like I wasn't like meant to be born, so I decided, you know what? How about I just try to make my own purpose? And since I have a really great imagination, I mean, I often when I was younger, I would, you know, start daydreaming and I would just kind of go into like a little fantasy in my head. And that's when I kind of learned my biggest strength is my imagination and my ability to conduct a story through images in my head. Although I wasn't really good at turning images into words, as I soon found out as soon as I started writing after I graduated from high school. But I still persisted on writing, of course, because I have a decent amount of books I've already written. 33 works as of my archive of my own, link in the description below, but still 33 works, so that means I have a decent amount of stories. That means I have persisted despite, you know, a laundry list of like flaws I have with writing. Number one, I'm not very good at spelling. I'm also horrible at reading. That's because of a learning disability I have. And so I had to try to adapt as much as I could using whatever tools that I had to help me with writing. The tools that I used were like things like I used three different speech programs through my years of writing, and that's because one failed after another, and I had to change every now and then. The worst one I used was Dragon Naturally Speaking. The second was Lily Speech, and now I'm using Windows 11 dictation. And Windows dictation, even though it's getting better as I use it, I'm still not writing. And this is because if you watch my last video, I have no editors and no reactors for my YouTube channel anymore. I'm basically alone. And I'm probably going to be alone for the rest of my life. And as a result, I have now drifted into like a very deep depression. And um, as you notice, I also have a speech impediment, which doesn't help with dictation programs at all. Um, just give me a minute to think, guys. As I went on, I found a different reason of writing, which was feeling the need to speak out towards sensitive subjects. And that's where my books started, being, about, things about rape and stuff, and the idea that those things are bad. And that's why I started writing those because I was like trying to make statements on what it is I was writing. Even though my statements weren't very clear, It's really hard to do when you're writing to like make metaphors, especially with a learning disability. It really does hinder what you're doing. And to be honest, I felt like I was doing my best. And that's why I was always like hoping that people would comment on my books because then I could get feedback and actually learn on what I could change as a future writer. But that never really happened. It was more of people pretending that I did not exist, and as that went on, it started to get more and more depression. And Gun Kid was a friend from my high school years, so for him to abandon me, it was basically the final nail in the coffin when I realized that I can't do this anymore. And I don't think I could go back to writing, to be honest, not just because of no editors and reactors, but I'm feeling very old. Like I've noticed that I am gaining a lot of pain in my back. And I'm also, well, I've been dealing with back pains and leg pains for quite a while since I was like 14, believe it or not. Uh, but now I've gotten up to in my 30s now, and and right now I feel like I'm like either 50 to 90 years old right now because I just it's funny because today I had this little pain in my chest and I was like, oh God, am I having a heart attack? And the pain was there and it was gone as soon as it came. So I don't think it was a heart attack. It might have been an indigestion issue. It's probably all it was. So it was probably no big deal. But the thing is, I'm getting old and I don't think I can do it anymore. I think what's really happening is that with my friend abandoning me and not really wanting to go back to my family members, I have basically become so depressed that it has affecting my age in progress, where I feel like my age has accelerated. And now I am just feeling very old and unable to really do much. But let's talk about why I'm making this video. I actually just recently I was sitting down thinking about why I was writing in the first place, and I found myself yet again stuck in my brain, going over some ideas and in my head, and I found myself kind of like stuck in sort of like an imagination, like uh, kind of like I was daydreaming. That's a better way to put it. I was daydreaming, and I was kind of like stuck in the thing, and I realized that you know it is better to be stuck in a daydream versus looking at reality because reality is horrible. The world that we humans have made it's basically garbage. It's not even garbage. It's literally like a world of a septic tank. It's gross. It's not it's not livable. Matter of fact, I think I remember putting something on my Facebook saying, why would anybody choose to live in this life? And nobody actually answered. But I honestly think that nobody in their right mind, if they had the choice to be born in this world, they would say, fuck this, no. I don't want to be born in this world. You don't even get a chance to really live your dreams unless you're like super lucky. Like if you like born with 4-leaf clovers. There's this, and unless you're born with that skill, whether you have good skill or not, you're gonna fail. And I honestly, with my imagination, I think I had quite the advantage of like trying to be the writer that I always dreamt that I wanted to be. But instead, I've learned that the world does not accept you, or better off, it's more of the world does not care about you in particular, no matter how skillful you are. Fame does not go to the skillful. Fame goes to the lucky and rich, which means if you're not lucky and you're not rich, you will not gain these things. You will not achieve your dreams. Instead, you will be in a dark world of depression as the world will swallow you whole in a deep, dark depression, which means your only options are escapism or suicide. And I'm just not really too sure if I want to talk about the suicide part too much, just because my thoughts on that right now are probably something you probably don't want to hear from me. So I'll do you guys a favor and not talk about it. But I just want to mention that, escaping into my story thing, I realized that when I was writing, I was giving you guys a gift of escapism away from, you know, this reality that's not harmful in a way, as in, like, you're not escaping the world through, like, drugs or self harm. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess it could be harmful to escape into, like, a fantasy or whatever, but even in, like, a book sense, but I think it doesn't hurt as much. I don't think it's as harmful as any other ways of escapism, I think. I don't know. But when I thinking about it, I realized that people tell stories in a way of dreaming of a better world that could inspire people to stand up and say things. And I think that's why I did the anti-gay and lesbian concept, because I even though that the concept of, like, what if the whole world turned gay and lesbian and that could lead to an extinction, that I feel like, even though that I feel like that's a very big possibility of happening, I would say that it just because I say it doesn't mean it's true. It was an apocalyptic idea that I thought was good for writing a story, and that was it, for, like, entertainment reasons and not like anything based on fact. And so I was just hoping that people could just see it as either entertainment or see that see that this could be a potential issue and try to fight against it in a non-violent way. And that was pretty much my goal for Music Girl in the sense. And I think it goes back to the whole um, with the infection tour story of what if an alien disease, like a disease from outer space, affected our water supply. Like, how would we fight against that? And that was the, apocalyptic idea that I felt was good for entertainment, even if it's something that's not fact. So that's why I feel like Gunn Kid did overreact with, just completely abandoning me and thinking that my whole musical story. I don't know what he thinks of it and why he felt the way he felt like he made those horrible choices of, just leaving me uh, and never wanting to be my bookmaster again to do my reading for my books, which um I don't understand his choice. I don't understand what he was thinking or what his issues were. And I don't think he is going to tell me because I feel like he is afraid of getting into an argument, which, to be fair, if he did say something that I feel like, well, something that I feel like I would have an answer to, then I would respond. And it might sound like I'm trying to start an argument, but it's me just, responding. Uh, and now that I think about it, I did try to respond to something that he said, but I can't remember what he said. All I can remember is what I was trying to explain to him. And telling you right now would be kind of pointless because I don't remember what he said, so I'm not going to say it right now. until the memory comes back to me, which I'm not too sure if I'll do another one of these videos on Zap Entertainment, since at this point, Zap Entertainment is basically dead because you, the audience, and my editor, all people who were my editors and all people who were my reactors or bookmasters, whatever, you guys, everybody has abandoned me completely, leaving me alone and being consumed by my own depression. And like I said before, as I get more and more consumed, I feel more and more old. And as of right now, I just feel so weak that I could not, sacrifice my soul and push myself to do more writing. And that's pretty much what I did with my writing, is that I pushed myself to the limits of my imagination and my physical mental brutality and all that and stuff. And that's why I kind of felt emotionally drained after every book, and I felt, tired. And I think it would have been worth it if people actually commented on my stories and you know all that stuff, because then that would have pushed me further and it would have accelerated my growth as a writer. But yet again, it didn't happen. It just people just started ignoring me, pushing me further and further into either stopping or being consumed by my depression. Um, and in this case, both. And now that I said what I wanted to say about what I reflected on the whole idea of escapism and the idea that books can inspire you to, you know, make a difference, I think I'm done with this video for now. So now that I said what I wanted to say, please like and subscribe, and this is Zerduku signing out, possibly forever.